Hey everybody, I hope that quiz you just took went well. I have a couple of reminders for you before we get started today on your worksheet, the application problems worksheet. First, your homework is going to be page 1 of the review sheet for Friday's test. That's going to be passed out to you if it hasn't been already. And then there's tutoring after school here today. I'll be here. And then tomorrow after school in room 307 with Mrs. Burrows. And then Friday morning, it'll also be here. I'll be here Friday morning at 6:45 to answer any last minute questions. Now, you should have a calculator for today's assignment, so if you don't have one, go ahead and go to the back and grab your assigned calculator because we'll be using it. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so if you notice, we are working application problems, and we're going to be solving systems of equations in these application problems. So, our job is to come up with a system of equations and then solve it. Alrighty, so first thing we need to do is check this Mexican dinner problem out. It says, suppose you're helping set the prices for the menu at a new Mexican restaurant. The regular dinner contains 2 tacos and 3 enchiladas, and the special dinner contains 4 tacos and 5 enchiladas. Part A asks us to write 2 expressions, one for the price of a regular dinner and the other for a price of the special dinner. Well, if you notice, the key word here is expressions. Now, expressions are different than equations. Expressions do not have an equal sign. So for the regular dinner, we need to actually, before we start the regular dinner, we need to define our variables. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to let T equal the price of the tacos. I'm going to let E equal the price of the enchiladas. Okay, so if I were to create a regular expression for the regular dinner, sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied, it'd be 2T, 2 times the cost of a taco, plus 3 times the cost of an enchilada. And that would be the expression for the regular dinner. Alright, for the special dinner, I have 4 tacos and 5 enchiladas. So the expression I'm going to use is 4T plus 5E. 4 times the cost of tacos plus 5 times the cost of enchiladas. Alright, moving on to part B, it says, using the expressions above, how much would each dinner cost if tacos are 35 cents and enchiladas are 60 cents? All we're going to do now is plug in 35 cents where we see T and 60 cents where we see E. So we're going to write 2 times 0.35 plus 3 times 0.6. And if you enter that into your calculator, you should end up getting $2.50. Okay, now for the special dinner, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to have $4 times the price of a taco, which is 4 times 0.35, plus 5 times the price of an enchilada, which is 5 times 0.6. And when you enter that into your calculator, you end up with $4.40. So, if tacos were 35 cents and enchiladas were 60 cents, you'd spend $2.50 for a regular dinner and $4.40 for a special dinner. Alright, now part C, the boss is changing it up on us. He sets the price of the regular and special dinner at $2.93 and $4.23. And they ask us to set up an equation. Now remember, I told you an equation is different than an expression. An equation requires an equal sign. So we are going to take the expressions that we took in part A. So for the regular dinner, it is 2T plus 3E. That expression was the cost of a regular dinner. Now, that has to be set equal to $2.39, the boss is telling us. Okay? For the special dinner, we use the same expression we had up in part A. 4 times the cost of a taco plus 5 times the cost of enchilada better come out to equal $4.23 is what the boss is telling us. So now we have a system of linear equations. So what we have to do is enter this system of linear equations into our calculator. So go ahead and turn your calculator on, and you should be at the home screen. I'm going to go to New Document and just to a calculator page. So just get to a calculator page. You could have gone to Scratchpad also. That works. I'm going to hit Menu. I'm then going to hit Algebra and then Solve System of Linear Equations. Now you should get a box, and you have to kind of tell the calculator what it's doing. The number of equations we're dealing with is 2. We have one for the regular dinner and one for the special dinner. So we need to change our variables here, okay? We need to change them because we are using T for tacos, the price of the tacos, and then E for the enchiladas. So you have to type those in and separate them by a comma. I wrote T, comma, E. Hit OK. And this box should come up now. And now what you do is you're going to enter in the equations exactly how we have them written in Part C of your worksheet. So I'm going to type 2T plus 3E. And notice the letters are down on the left, are down at the bottom of your calculator, equals 2.39. Okay, now moving on to the next equation, I'm going to type in 4T plus 5E equals 423. Alrighty, then all you have to do is hit enter. And now if you notice, the first variable we have up here is T. And the variable that we're dealing with in the first set of parentheses is T. So the cost of a taco is going to be 37 cents, and the cost of an enchilada is going to be 55 cents. Okay? So now we go look at our options. It says using the equations from Part C, which answer would be true? And if you notice, answer choice C is the answer that we want. Alright, let's move on to problem 2, the scuba diving problem. Okay, so we're going to a scuba diving resort and hotel, and it offers divers 2 plans. Plan A gives you 3 nights of lodging and 4 dives. Plan B gives you 5 nights and 8 dives. So they want 2 expressions. Remember, expressions are different from equations. Okay, and they want them to represent the amount that you would pay for Plan A and the other for the amount that you would pay for Plan B. So we're dealing with nights lodging and dives. So I'm going to use N for the price of 1 night's lodging. And I want D to represent the cost of dives. Okay, so in Plan A, they give you 3 nights, so 3 times the cost of a night, plus 4 times the cost of the dives, would give you a good expression to represent the cost of Plan A, 3N plus 4D. Okay, Plan B, they're going to give you 5 nights, so 5 times the cost of lodging for 1 night, plus 8 times the cost of a dive. Alright, Part B. Using the expressions above, how much would the trip cost if lodging was $50 per night and $40 and dives were $40 each? So all we're going to do is plug in 50 where we see N, and we're going to plug in 40 where we see D. So 3 for Plan A, it's going to be 3 times 50 plus 4 times 40 for the dives. Plan B is going to be 5 times 50 plus 4 times, 8, sad teacher, 8 times 40. Okay, plug those into your calculator. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that to get some practice. And you should get the same answers that I will present to you in just a second. Okay, if you didn't pick up your calculator just now, the sub is going to write your name down, and you should have entered these equations into your calculator. And you end up getting 310 and 570. Okay? So, part C. A new price list comes out in which a plan A costs $440 and plan B costs $780. Write an equation to represent each plan. So just like in the Mexican dinner problem, we are going to take the expressions that we wrote down in part A and set them equal to the cost in the price list. So, for plan A, we have 3 nights plus 4 dives, and they're telling us it cost $440. For plan B, we get 5 nights and 8 dives, and the cost comes to a total of $780. Alright, so those are our equations. And part D says, using the equations from part C, which answer would be true? So, we're going to go back to our calculators. Hopefully you're still in a calculator page. And if you aren't, get there. And the way we do it again is menu, algebra, solve system of linear equations. We have 2 equations here, and the variables we're dealing with are not x and y. We're dealing with n and d. So you type in n, comma, d. Hit OK. And then you're just going to type in the expressions just like, or equations, I'm sorry, that we just wrote down in part C of our problem. So 3n plus 4d equals 440. Okay, and then 5n plus 8d equals 780. And then you hit enter. And now it should tell you that n, the cost for a night's lodging is $100, and the cost for dive, which is represented by D, is $35. So we go back to our worksheet and find out that our answer choice D is the answer to this problem. Okay, go ahead and flip to the back and let's finish this worksheet up. Okay, so we're doing more application problems with solving systems of linear equations. Now, if you notice, I'm solving all of these problems in the calculator. And the only reason that that is okay is because I haven't specified to you another method. Okay, so remember, if I tell you you have to solve a system of linear equations problem using graphing or substitution or elimination, then you're required to show that work. Even though I know you can solve every system of linear equations in the calculator, if I ask for a specific method, I'm requiring you to do that. Okay, just wanted to make that clear. In this coins in your pocket problem, you have 15 coins in your pocket that are either quarters or nickels. And the total is $2.75. How many coins of each do you have? So, I'm going to go ahead and label Q as my quarters. And I'm going to label N as my nickels. Okay, and we have a total of 15 coins. Oh, sorry, number of nickels and number of quarters. Okay, so we have the number of quarters plus the number of nickels has to equal 15. Now, we know a quarter is 25 or 0.25, 25 cents. So 25 cents times the number of quarters would give you the total amount you have in quarters. Plus, a nickel is 5 cents. So 5 cents or 0.05 times the number of nickels would give us the amount that we have in nickels. The total amount, when you add the amount you have in quarters and nickels, should come out to be $2.75. Okay? So we can enter this system of linear equations into our calculator and figure out what the number of nickels and coins we have is. So again, you're in a calculator page. You hit menu, algebra, solve system of linear equations. Now, we're not dealing with x and y, we're dealing with q and n in this case. So we have to tell the calculator what variables we're dealing with. Hit OK and type in our equations. So first we're typing in Q plus N equals 15. Next we're going to write in 0.25 times Q plus 0.05 times N equals 275. Hit enter. Okay, so if you notice, Q is our first variable, and the first number in our ordered pair is 10. So we have 10 quarters, and then N is our second variable, and it's 5. The value of N is 5. So we have 5 nickels. So the number of quarters we have is 10. And the number of nickels we have is 5. Okay. Now, let's go down to the problem. Oh, sorry, 1 second, y'all. One of the problems got hidden. That's what's going on. I want to go over this baseball problem with y'all. So, sorry that got mixed up. Move that on down to its problem. Technical difficulties, gotta love it. Okay, so I've got 2 more problems I'm going to go over with you, and then I'm going to let y'all work. It says the baseball team is selling coffee mugs for $4 and blankets for $10. The team sells 205 items, and they receive $1,084. So they want to find the number of mugs and blankets sold. So we're going to let M equal the number of mugs and B equal the number of blankets. And the number of mugs, which is M, plus the number of blankets has to total 205 because they sold 205 items. Okay? And the cost of a mug was $4. So 4 times the number of mugs gives you the total amount of money they made in mugs. Plus the cost or the money they made in blankets, which could be represented by 10B, $10 times the number of blankets they sold. And they have to add up to $1,084. So we have our 2 equations, and we can go to our calculator since there's no method specified of how to solve, and type in our system of linear equations. We're in a calculator page, menu, algebra, solve systems of linear equations. Type in our variables, which in this case are M, comma, B. Hit OK. And then type in the equation. M plus B equals 205. And then 4M plus 10B equals 1,084. Hit enter. And it tells you the number of mugs that they sold was 161. And the number of blankets they sold was 44. So we write in 161 mugs and 44 blankets. Alrighty, let's skip down to the rectangle problem. It says the length of a rectangle is 4 less than twice the width, and the perimeter of the rectangle is 34 feet. And they want us to find the length and the width. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of label this. The long side as my length, and then the rectangle as my width. They give us the information as the perimeter is 34 feet. So somehow we have to remember that the perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So 2 times the length plus 2 times the width has to equal 34. Okay? And they also tell us that the length of the rectangle is 4 less than twice the width. So the length equals 2 times the width, and then 4 less than that would be minus 4. Alrighty. So now we can go ahead into our calculator and type in the system of linear equations since they didn't specify the way they want us to solve it. So, menu, algebra, solve systems of linear equations. we're using L and W. Hit OK. And then type in the equations. 2L plus 2W equals 34. And then L equals 2W minus 4. Hit enter. And you realize that the length, which is our first variable we defined, is 10 feet, and our width is 7 feet. So that's what we're going to type in. We are writing our worksheet 10 feet for the length and 7 feet for the width. Okay, now y'all need to go ahead and finish up these back problems. It shouldn't take you long because I've done 3 of the 5. So you have 2 more problems to do, and then y'all can start quietly working on your review worksheet. And I will see y'all tomorrow or at tutoring this afternoon. Okay, good luck, y'all, and study up for your test Friday. Do not forget, you have a test Friday. Study, please, okay? Go to tutoring, and it's over sections 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3. All right, bye, y'all. Have a good one.